The wait is finally over. Ninja and Emperor are here, and they're reporting for duty.
일단 5주차 때 왔을 때 상황이 많이 안 좋고
Looking to turn around that 0-9 start.
대회도 못 뛰고 그걸 한국에서 또 그냥 보고만 있으니까 진짜 좀 답답하더라고요, 마음이.
저희는 첫 경기였잖아요.
Tough match right out of the gate, though. These guys are facing Team Dignitas.
For all intents and purposes, TDK's season starts today.
So it looks like Valkyrie gonna do nothing, and the kill goes through to Emperor. Ships are sitting at the fight, but he's the only guy left alive on the team. Nice Q by Emperor, takes him down. They're gonna start with their new lineup with a win right off the bat. Then maybe the miracle season has begun.
나도 이제 남은 8경기 다 이겨가지고 플레이오프 갈 수 있을 것 같다는 자신감이 생겼어요.
TSM 이기면 저희도 좀 기세 타서 나머지 팀들도 다 잡을 수 있을 것 같아요. 아무거나 스톰.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Week 6 of the North American League Championship Series Summer Split. The fans are pumped up here in Los Angeles for some Independence Day action, and we've got plenty of them. Cloud9 fans, fans of Wards, Collies in general. Well, there you're seeing Tip just a short time ago arriving at the studio. They'll be going up against a struggling enemy esports in our first game of the day. As you see, Otter and Inox making their way to the stage. Now, wishing all of you a happy 4th of July. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson. And joining me on the desk to exercise their right to analyze are Aiden Zyrene Moon, Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler, and Mr. David Freak Turley. How you doing today, gentlemen?
Doing great. Happy 4th.
That was so well timed.
I'm glad I waited so they could have their moment.
All right, well, we do begin with shocking news from Cloud9. Meteos has stepped down as the team's jungler and shot caller and will be replaced by Hai this weekend.
And this is going to be an interesting transition for Cloud9. Now, my understanding is his Hai replacement is not going to be permanent, of course. He, of course, retired from mid lane this year due to injury. He probably won't even if they can't find a replacement jungler, they're going to have to. Like, I would be surprised if Hai even played playoffs here. But the general thing is, so Hai used to jungle back in Season 3. Of course, it's been a long time since then, so he's not going to be very good at it. And the thing I want to talk about is two different things. It's the effect of the player's champion and the effect of the player himself. Hai as a champion controller will not be as good as Meteos in the jungle, right? Like, the jungler from C9 will not be as effective. However, Hai as a person is an amazing shot caller, and what he as a person brings to C9 might actually see immediate success. The question is, what will that disparity be like?
Yeah, I definitely agree that Hai is going to bring some qualities that Cloud9 desperately need back, but I don't think it's going to manifest itself today. Hai is he's been out of the jungle game for too long, and it's hard to jump right back into that, especially in competitive. He's been playing the game, but fairly casually.
Yeah, and Freak, I actually want to jump off what you said, and I feel like those things for Hai might be in opposition to one another, because Hai, near the end of his run in Cloud9 as the mid laner, he was talking about how when he didn't have a great individual performance, he would defer the shot calling to Meteos because he didn't feel like he had a good grasp of the game. So if his jungle performance is actually suffering from not being kind of familiar with the role and the way it's going to play now and the way he's playing against these professional junglers, is that going to affect his shot calling because he doesn't feel like he has a good grasp of the game at the present time?
And that might be true. There's actually one specific personality trait I think will actually help him a bit. We're seeing a very common trend of vision-focused junglers, like Move, for example, is very good at this, where he buys a ton of wards. That was Hai's style already in the mid lane, so there's certain parts of his game plan that already fit with, like, a really good jungle style, and maybe that just becomes a clean transition. Obviously a long shot, but maybe.
All right, and they have to go up against Team Liquid today, so not the easiest of opponents to go up to right off the bat. There's also, though, a long-expected shakeup happening over in TSM's camp. After weeks of speculation, TSM signed Keith and announced that he would be starting in place of Wild Turtle.
And this is another transition that I think, more so than the C9 change, actually will be very good for TSM. Wild Turtle as a player was overly risky, and especially in 2015, where if you take risks, you jump into a Sejuani or something. Back in the old days, like, a Zed was going to kill you anyway, so playing risky would let you get some more damage output here. But Keith, as opposed to Wild Turtle, is a very safe player. He's a bit like Cop when he used to play, where you're almost never going to see him die. For what it's worth, Keith was a weak laner, he would typically get behind in the laning phase, and that might spell disaster for TSM. But having a safe, consistent source of DPS when you've already got Bjergsen to be a playmaker, I think is the right style of AD carry for TSM.
All right, we'll be looking to see if they maybe throw him into lane swaps more often here. TSM will be hoping for the same sort of immediate results that we saw last week from TDK. Now, in their first game playing with their intended lineup, TDK took down first place Team Dignitas, leaving a lot of people to wonder, was it beginner's luck or hashtag Dragon Age, boys?
Yeah, TDK with the showing that they gave last week, the bottom of the table just got very scared because this does not look like that 10th place team. They're energized. They have multiple threats. And we just talked about Keith. He's up against Emperor, who had an amazing game. He has a track record of being a winner over in Korea, and then he moved to Brazil. So he has a lot of professional experience. And this team, frankly, they are no longer a free win at this point. And everybody is going to get a lot closer in the standings because they're not inflated by these guys.
Definitely true. They had an amazing first game with their starting roster, but that was only one game. Yes, they were able to defeat the first place team, Team Dignitas, but now they're playing the team that just replaced them at the top of the standings. TSM is now #1, and they have to play TSM. This is going to be a really hard test for the guys. If they can keep it up, though, I mean, consistency is definitely going to be a thing that they need to make playoffs because they're working with such a early deficit as far as the standings go.
Another interesting thing, too, is they've gotten to watch every team for these 5 weeks, and now they get to come in and kind of throw a curveball in the plans because now other teams have to think, what research do we even have on TDK at this point to assess their strengths? So I feel like coming out of the gate, people are still like, where does Ninja and Emperor really stand in this team? And how much of a threat is Seraph? Because they've seen Seraph, but they haven't seen him on this style of team.
Really hard to pinpoint where Ninja stands at any moment. So good luck.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to see how they do in their second game with the full roster. Now, to remind everyone how all the teams are arranged, let's pull up the standings on your screens. In first with 8 wins and 2 losses, it's Team Solo Mid. 1 game back in second, we have CLG Gravity and Team Dignitas. Tip is in 5th, followed by Team Team Liquid is in 5th, followed by Team Impulse in 6th, and clumped up in 7th are Cloud9, Enemy, Team 8, with Team Dragon Knights in 10th. Looking at today's schedule, though, we've got Team Impulse versus Enemy Esports. Then we'll see if TDK can take down Team Solo Mid, and we'll conclude the day with Team Dignitas versus Team 8. And be sure to tune in for our game of the week coming up tomorrow with Team Dignitas versus Team Liquid, 2 household names looking to distinguish themselves as playoff contenders. We'll be bringing you that tomorrow with our 4th match of the day. But now, it's time to send it over to our casters to get the games underway.